Any of this. This is a very, very alarming story, one that we've covered before. It is the story of a football fan, Linzi Smith, a devoted Newcastle fan. Don't know why, but she likes Newcastle. No, seriously, she's a big Newcastle fan, been going there all her life, season ticket holder, all that. She gets investigated because by the police, Northumbria police, because she posted gender-critical tweets. She doesn't believe that people can change their biology, their sex, and she's right in that, of course. For some reason, that becomes classified as some kind of hate crime. There was a complaint against her from someone at Newcastle Football Club. The police got involved. They interrogated her. And she's going, what have I done wrong? Anyway, at long last, Northumbria police have apologised, saying they should never have done that. Quite right, cops. Why did you do it in the first place? But, outrageously, she remains banned from Newcastle Football Club. And by the way, while we're on that topic, at one point, Newcastle Football Club, while investigating whether or not they should ban Linzi, they put her under surveillance. They took pictures of her taking her dog for a walk. You know, Keir Starmer goes over to Washington and tells Donald Trump and JD Vance we've got freedom of speech in this country. I don't think so. Well, she's been on the show before. I'm really pleased to have her back. Welcome back to the show. Linzi, hello.
Hiya, Kevin. It's nice to see you again.
Good to see you. I'm glad you finally got justice from Northumbria Police. Outrageous the way they treated you. But have you got any explanation from Newcastle Football Club, your club, as to why you're still banned?
No, I haven't heard anything from them. My lawyers, when we did receive the report back, I sent it, obviously, because the report was all done by Harry Miller of Faircott. He made the complaint, and when I got the report back, I then forwarded that onto the Free Speech Union and my lawyers, Levin Solicitors, who are dealing with the discrimination claim against the football club. And no, I haven't heard anything. They've actually sent them a letter, basically saying that they've apologised, no crime had been committed, it should never have happened. Yeah. There was multiple failings, 14 police officers in total were all involved in inventing this apparent crime that I'd committed.
14 cops.
Yeah, 14, ranging from PC level all the way up to CID. So it was pretty bizarre.
And at one point, Linzi, you were hauled into the police station and interrogated for a fairly long time, and warned that if you tried to leave, to walk out, you would be under arrest. How long did they interrogate you for this terrible crime of yours?
I think I was probably in there about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I mean, if you count how long it took, obviously, sitting there waiting, my solicitors talking to the police and everything, I'd probably say about 45 minutes I was in the police station for altogether. Well,
let's talk about your terrible crime, and I'm saying that facetiously, of course. What did you tweeted? You believe, and so do I, by the way, and so does any sensible person, you don't believe that people can change their biological sex. You tweeted something along those lines, didn't you? What exactly did you tweet to apparently enrage some fellow Newcastle fan who said that in view of your tweets, it would not be safe for trans fans to sit next to you? This is like something out of a kind of science fiction film, but what did you actually tweet?
So I tweeted things like, just your daily reminder, trans women are men.
Correct.
They also complained about the fact I had hashtag LGB in my bio, which they said was a trans exclusionary radical group. I tweeted things about disagreeing with men in women's sports, about the transitioning of children, and all of which I was questioned over. So yeah.
But these are because you're gay, right? So you put LBG, but not the T. So that seemed to incur the wrath of the authorities. Yeah.
Yeah, I was questioned over the fact that I had LGB and no TQ in there. If I had a lawful reason. I know.
Sorry, I mean, if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. So,
Yeah.
so you should have had TQ on. That's unbelievable. Yeah. And did the police talk to you about this egregious omission from your acronym I keep getting it right, LBG? Did they say, why didn't you put T and Q on the end?
Yeah, it was more like the line of questioning, because he was reading off of a sheet. So it was like, do you have a lawful reason for posting this? Do you think it could cause shock, alarm, or distress to anybody? You know, that was the line of questioning around all of it. So it's going to cause alarm and distress, because I don't associate with identity politics, really.
Yeah, and your beliefs, and by the way, I share your beliefs. I think any sensible person would. This isn't anti-trans to say you can't change your biological sex. That is a scientific fact. They were maintaining that your perfectly valid and correct opinions were somehow illegal.
Yeah, it was what I was questioned for was malicious communications. So, I was pulled in for a hate crime. But the thing is, and what the police force have been forced to admit is that it shouldn't have even gotten to that point, because there was no victim in there. So they didn't like what I was saying, but for malicious communications to be that, there needs to be a victim. And the whole complaint was made by someone who isn't even trans. They are a vehement activist in that area.
Right.
But it was basically, the complaint was made by this person saying, someone could be upset and offended by this. So on that basis, they decided to just log it as malicious communications and haul me in for a hate crime.
So at least late in life, Northumbria police have seen the error of their ways and apologised to you. Now, presumably the same person who complained about your tweets to the police also complained to Newcastle Football Club. And as I recall, subsequent to that complaint, incredibly, astonishingly, Newcastle Football Club put you under surveillance.
Yeah, they ended up getting the Premier League involved. And the thing is that when I got my subject access request back, 'cause it's the only reason I found everything out, I got that back late November, because it takes 30 days. So it might have been early December I got it. And I was astonished to find they'd actually been investigating me since beginning of July. So they'd spent a good 3 months watching me and having the Premier League do what they called a target profile, which is usually used to deal with racism in the football ground and hooliganism and things like that. But they decided to bring the full force of the Premier League and their power onto me, because I was tweeting opinions that weren't even aimed at anybody. So
but they put you under surveillance. Didn't they watch you once when you were taking your dog for a walk or something?
They were going through like all of my social media, and they were taking images of where I used to walk my dog and things like that. They had things in there like about how I have ties to Whitley Bay. It appears that I work down in Whitley Bay. They took images of the park where I walked my dog and took Google images and wrote the full address down. They put the address of the church that was behind my house. Just everything. It was quite shocking to see.
I think I might have said to the club or to the police, this is Newcastle, not North Korea. I mean, that's what this sounds like, doesn't it? It's really sinister. So, I mean, you love Newcastle FC. It's been your club your whole life, as I said. I can't imagine why, but I'm a Fulham fan myself. But no, seriously, they're your club. Tell me how they informed you that you were banned.
So I got an email. I remember I was checking to see when the ballot would open for the Chelsea game, and I saw it open the next day. So I was thinking, right, great, I'm gonna get my name in the hat. Yeah, I'm gonna get my name in the hat. Hopefully, I'll get a ticket. And then there was just an email from the security complaints department saying my membership had been suspended, my account had all been suspended because I was under investigation for a hate crime with Northumbria Police. That was the first I heard of anything, even so much as being under investigation, which I found quite baffling, because I would have thought for a crime so serious, at least I would have known before a football club. But apparently not. So
as we said, the Northumbria police, I mean, good for them. Finally, they've realised that this was all terribly, terribly wrong. Have you been subsequent to the police apologising? Have you been back to Newcastle FC to say, look, you know, can I have my season ticket back, or what's happening there?
So my lawyers have written to them because the Newcastle's defence this whole time has been that I've been banned because I had committed a crime. The only reason I wasn't charged is because I gave a no comment interview, which that's not
legally correct. That's not legally correct. You cannot be classified as having committed a crime until you're convicted of it, because that's another issue. I mean, I personally, I hate crimes. I don't think we should even have them, but that's just a debating point. But in order for you to be to have committed a hate crime, you've got to be convicted of it. They can't take a view on whether or not they think you probably did it. That's not legal.
Well, they seem to think it is. So that's a big portion of what they're basing the defence on. And my lawyers have just sent them a nice little email basically saying to them, you know, here's the evidence. The police have actually said it was unnecessary. She shouldn't have even been crimed, let alone having me hauled in the way that I was. So I think it's just a bit of a waiting game, really. They're probably mulling it all over now since everything broke on Saturday. So I eagerly await to see if we do hear from them, if they reach out in any way, shape or form and try and resolve this amicably, which is what I've tried to do from the get-go.
It must be quite upsetting. You've been a lifelong Newcastle fan, I assume. It must be quite upsetting for you, your club. You know, because I know about this stuff. You know, I'm a Fulham fan, so it's a life of misery. But you form a kind of emotion. Yeah, you're all right. You got Newcastle. You should try my club. But seriously, you know, you form an emotional bond with your club. It's sort of part of your life. It must be disappointing for you, for your club to be treating you like this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people always ask me, like, how has it affected you? And, you know, I think I'd be lying if I said that everything was still normal, because it really isn't. Like, I still do everything in my power. I support the team. I'll watch them every time they play, and I'll always back them, even in the worst moments, in the moments where we play a bit naff like we did the other day. But, you know, when it comes down to it, I think I've just had to work really hard to separate it. Like, this is down to individuals and activists working within the ground. And that's what I'm trying to focus my attention on, is dealing with these individuals that have taken it upon themselves to do this to me, as opposed to taking it out on the whole club. But, you know, there is something broken there. I used to be an absolute fanatic. I would sit and listen to every press conference, every video that was out, just everything, even the training videos. And now, you know, I will occasionally, but there's not the same pleasure and joy that there used to be. Yeah.
The only thing I'd say,
that have taken it.
The only thing I'd say to you, Linzi, is you know, if I wouldn't blame the whole club. There's some Jobsworth in there who, you know, clearly have you know, gone too far here. And by the way, that thing you said about, oh well, we assume that you are guilty of this crime because you did no comment replies. Well, you know, that's what lawyers tell their clients to do, don't they? When you sit down with the cops, lawyers generally say just say no comment. So, you know, but if you say no comment, and the club said, well, that means you're guilty. That's not legally correct. So I think you will prevail. I mean, your lawyers must be confident that you will get your membership back fairly soon, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've caught them in the club themselves, like, in quite a few lies, if I'm honest with you, throughout. And this police report I've had back just reveals so much more about the way the police and the club actually conspired together to actually do this to me, to the point where there was a PC, a police officer, that saw all the evidence, I suppose, against me, and they knew and they'd seen all of that before a crime had even been logged in any sense. So, you know, there was collusion in there. So, you know, I think I'll only get the full picture once I get full disclosure, which should be due soon, because the case has been assigned to the multi-track course now. We're hoping to get it down like sometime later down the road this year to actually get it into court. So yeah, it's a waiting game, and I'm hoping the club will see sense, but I have been hoping that since this started, and it's not happened yet. So.
Well, I just can't believe that they won't in the end. And, you know, here's to you for fighting your corner, because this is a terrible injustice. I don't think we should have hate crimes at all, but even if we did, you're not guilty of a hate crime. It's not a hate crime to state scientific facts on Twitter. So listen, we will keep in touch, Linzi, and well done so far, and I'm sure you're going to prevail. Really good to talk to you. All the best. Linzi Smith, banned by Newcastle FC. Unbelievable story. That's what I mean. That is where Keir Starmer is entirely wrong. Do you remember when he went over to Washington last Thursday? Wasn't it? Oh, no, we have freedom of speech. Oh, we've always had freedom of speech. Yes, we have freedom of speech. Ask Linzi Smith whether or not we've got freedom of speech. That's where we don't have freedom of speech. These hate crimes, they deprive us so often of our freedom of speech and freedom of expression. We've got to be careful here, and Linzi's case reminds us that we have to be very careful. Next up, we're going to be talking about Lindsay Hoyle and his jet-setting jaunts across the planet at our expense, taxpayers' expense. That next, stay tuned.